Okay, you're literally
in my
Action!
Okay, well, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today on channel 17, we'll be discussing Cuba and the Platt Amendment.
The Spaniards have taken over Cuba, and the United States has decided to take interest in this issue.
The United States wants Cuba to gain their independence, but of course under the United States sphere of influence.
Okay, thanks. But right now is not the time to debate this issue. We need to gather more facts to provide information for our lovely viewers.
Okay, whatever. Let's get the facts straight about San Juan Hill. Kyle, how's it going over there in the corner?
About to interview an expert on San Juan Hill. Okay, Elaine, tell us about the Spanish control over Cuba.
The Spanish colonized many parts of the New World, but by the 1800s they only had control of Cuba and Puerto Rico.
So the Spanish has always been in control of Cuba?
Yes, ma'am, but the Cuban citizens were revolting against the Spanish government. The U.S. intervened in this conflict to protect their citizens, their investments in Cuban businesses, and their trade with Cuba. The U.S. officially declared war on Spain after the U.S. warship, the Maine, exploded and sank on February 15, 1898, while visiting Havana, Cuba.
Awesome. So can you tell us more about the Battle of San Juan Hill?
So approaching battle time, the U.S. General Shafter led American soldiers to Santiago. The U.S. had many advances in this battle due to the use of the Gatling gun and the location on top of the hill, thanks to Colonel Theodore Roosevelt. Roosevelt led the U.S. cavalry called Rough Riders, who took control of the hills which overlooked Santiago. This gave the U.S. the upper hand to seize the city of Santiago and kill many of the Spaniards.
Wow, I'm shook. Can you tell us more about the effects of San Juan Hill on all the people and the cities involved?
Yes, after San Juan Hill battle, there was an outbreak of yellow fever and food poisoning within U.S. soldiers, which weakened the U.S. Army. However, they were in better shape compared to the Spanish. Spanish leader Admiral Cavera's ship escaped the Santiago harbor, but was recaptured and destroyed from the battle against U.S. fleet at Manila Harbor. Spanish forces in Cuba were unable to receive supplies because of the destruction of Cavera's ship, which led to the surrender of Spain on July 16, 1898. Thus, the U.S. gained control over Cuba and Puerto Rico.
Interesting. But who exactly led the Cubans during this crisis?
Jose Marti was the leader of the revolution, but when he returned back to Cuba after asking the U.S. for help in Tampa, he was killed. Thomas Estrada Palma then became the next leader of the revolution and eventually became the first president of Cuba.
Okay, now that we have more knowledge about this topic, I would like to thank you for your time and for your expertise about the Battle of San Juan.
Thank you for interviewing me. I have nothing else better to do.
Now let's go back to our anchors.
First off, can you explain to the viewers what imperialism is?
Well, it's the policy in which stronger nations extend their economic, political, and/or military control over the weaker nations.
And you agree with this?
Yes, of course.
How could you support that?
Well, first of all, imperialism helps to develop modern technologies. It also helps countries to gain power. Imperialism also helps to improve healthcare access. Finally, imperialism creates more educational and economic opportunities.
Well, for starters, why on earth would you go to war to take over different countries? Doing this peacefully would be so much easier than going in and destroying a whole country we have to clean up. The point of us taking over Cuba is to gain new land, not destroy lives. The people of Cuba should be able to believe what they want, not what we force them to. Don't you agree that a self-government is for the better? Who wants someone peeking over their shoulder telling them what to do?
Me, obviously. What would we do without the strong government guiding us not to drive the country into the ground? People need rules. That's why countries have run so smoothly before.
You're kidding me, right? Exploitation is made so much easier with imperialism. The government can be corrupt and people's beliefs are not heard. Imperialism promotes slavery because they enslave people of their new countries, not to mention how many diseases those invaders bring in. The natives of the country do not have the immunities of the invaders, so they are much quicker to die of diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV.
I understand your points, but I simply have to disagree.
You're just mad you lost. Now for a quick commercial break.
Are you tired of not being able to communicate efficiently with your friends and family?
All right, buddy. Time for takeoff.
Go, Tigger! Bounce away!
No! Go take this. Go! Go take it!
A few moments later.
Friend! Hey, friend! Gah! 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 Are you having trouble communicating?
Yes.
Well, do I have a solution for you? The telephone. Here, why don't you try it out?
Okay, sweet, thanks.
I have a rash. Help. Help. For all your needs. Now to our reporter Kaylee, who is live on the streets talking to Samaritans about the U.S.'s control over Cuba.
Hello viewers. So according to the debate in the last segment, some say that the US is harshly controlling Cuba and the United States needs to stop and back off and stop being so pushy and violent. And some believe that the US is making smart moves that are helping us grow and have more control over worldly affairs. The imperialists. Let's ask some random people on the street about their opinion on the US control over Cuba. A nice gentleman right over here. Excuse me, sir. What is your opinion on the U.S.'s control over Cuba? Sir? Ooh, I mean, ma'am.
Well, to be honest, I have no idea what's going on with our country's foreign affairs, but I believe that as a country we shouldn't be inflicting power and violence with countries that aren't physically or economically bothering us.
You, ma'am, you, sir, you, ma'am, are an anti-imperialist. Any thoughts? People over here. Hi, Cuba, imperialism, platinum amendment. What are your thoughts?
Do you mind?
No, take your time. It's a loaded question.
Leave us alone.
Okay. Okay, so basically what they're trying to say is that the Platt Amendment was a treaty passed by the United States that gave us the right to intervene with any sort of national affairs having to do with Cuba. It was an attempt to help protect Cuba from foreign interventions, but Cuba usually doesn't make treaties with other countries that give them the power over their affairs because of their fear of losing their independence. LOL, that's ironic. The US ended up controlling Cuba for a little while after the Mexican-American War, and they do indeed lose their independence. Whoopsies. During this treaty, the US was granted several naval bases in Cuban territories, the most notable being Guantanamo Bay. That is what these nice Samaritans were trying to explain. Right, guys? Oh, here's an unfamiliar face. Hello, fellow citizen. What is your opinion on America's intervention in Cuban affairs?
Well, I completely agree with everything the U.S. is doing. I myself am an imperialist. So I know that imperialism only benefits all of us. Imperialism improved agricultural production, creates better market access, and exposes people to new cultures and ethnicities. Also, hello, my name is Mia Gordon. Do I have a deal for you investors out there? So, are you tired of old crusty plain nails? Well, nail polish is my brand new invention. It can... Cut!
Oh my, what a piece of work.
I have to say, I can't possibly agree with the last interview more. And that nail polish invention? Genius.
Shocker. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the news on the U.S.'s current stance with Cuba.
We will see you tomorrow with another highly informing, out-of-this-world newscast.
Move.
Okay,
Literally
you know
move.
what? You totally
Literally
stole my